Hey, how you doing? This is Neil from masterpaintingnow.com, and I have a lot of awesome courses there for you to learn from. And in this free lesson here, I'm going to show you how to design clothes, in this case, how to design either a bikini bottom or a bikini or a one-piece suit, and how to make it animate properly. It's mainly how to make things animate properly where there's going to be bends and moves. In this case, this whole entire crotch area is one that you really need to make sure that it follows the topology if you want it to animate correctly. Otherwise, you're going to get all kinds of weird artifacting and stuff. So let's go and get started, and I'll show you how to do that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete this really fast. This isn't part of the tutorial, so don't worry about what I'm doing right now. I just want to get rid of that. Okay, cool. So we're going to start in object mode, and what we want to do is I'm going to show you the topology of one other thing. By the way, if you ever need to reset your pose and when you're animating, just hit A to select your entire rig, go to pose here, clear transformation all. All right, so I want to make sure our topology flows nicely and flows correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and go to this mode here. So when I turn off her suit and look at her flow here, we're going to select her skin. So I recommend that if you're going to be making clothing, to make sure that your skin has good topology. Now, one way to do that, at least a really good base, is starting with the quad remesher, or you can do your own, topology yourself, but it takes a lot of time, so it's not something people like to do. So I recommend using something like Quad Remesh. So you just go to Quad Remesh website, download it, install it, and then you can look up there's tutorials on how to do that if you don't know how to do that. Under Preferences, you type in Quad up here, and you'll see it's right here. And by clicking this, it's not there. And if I click it again, it comes back. And then just go here, and then go to Save Preferences. By the way, I'm using Blender 2.93, which is down here. It's free. It's awesome. Right, so I want to make sure that my one piece follows, like I said, so I have kind of adjusted topology a little bit here. So normally it's not quite as high when if you make a figure and then use the quad remesher. I use around 2000. So when you use this here, I usually set this around 2000 for the whole figure, but you can adjust that as needed till you get the right amount of quads, that is little squares here. So then one thing you can do is you can go to sculpting mode, and you can use this tool here, the grab tool, and you can start pulling this, all this a little bit further up. So if you want all this to kind of be closer together and further up, you can start pulling that. Just make sure you do it all the way around here. So I want to kind of pull this up here, and this is going to naturally kind of keep the form that I already have there. It's going to keep this form. And I might use a little bit of hold down shift and just kind of touch this a couple times like that. Just kind of smooth it out a little bit. I might move this up a little bit and smooth it like so. I really want it to be higher here. If you need to add a couple edge loops here, you can add a couple more edge loops, but I think that's nice. Okay, so once you have the topology the way you want it, go back to modeling mode, which is going to be our edit mode. So when we're back here to edit mode, we need to select all the things that we want. So I'm going to use the selection tool here. Hold down the left mouse tool, and you can select these different tools. So I like this lasso tool here. Hold down the shift key while you're selecting if you want to select more than you've already selected. Make sure we're in this up here, see where it says face selected. Click that little icon up here so we can select faces instead of edges or instead of vertices. And I'm going to just go like this, and I'm debating whether I'm going to do one piece. I think I might show you how to do a bikini too, just in case that's something you want to do. Right, so I got all that added right there. I'm going to make sure when I come underneath here that I just add this center one. You might have to adjust this depending on how you sculpted your model, whether you gave her a butt crack or not, and how the retopology tool worked for you here. You might have to go in and adjust the mesh a little bit by pulling these out so they're not so skinny. I actually want it really thin like that. So now I got to come over here from the side, I got to start adding all this in, and it's that one. I'll come all the way to like that. So it's kind of a G-string style here. If you want to kind of, curve out more like this, then I would have to add in more, like change the mesh a little bit so it kind of flows out like that. I could actually add this center one here, but then I have to add all the way up here. Look at the flow line, which means that flow line comes all the way around here, and then that means it has to come down lower on the hips. I don't want it to come down lower. I want it to be higher like this. So I'm not going to add that. And just make sure all this is flowing around like so. All right, then I can go ahead and go to one of these views here. Let's click on, I just click on this, so it brings me to this view. Then see this icon up here? Toggle X-ray, click that on. Now I can select everything right through, holding down the Shift key still while you make your selections. Just want to make sure I'm grabbing everything over there. And I'm going to come all the way up and grab the entire neck and start grabbing the arms here. And I'm actually only going to come to about here with the arms. And if you're worried about whether your arms are identical, whether you've selected each arm identically, we can just go and change that after we make the suit. And I'll show you how to do it. It's really easy. All right, so that looks good. I'm going to click the toggle X-ray mode off to make sure everything's selected here. Looks good. Also, I'm also going to turn off the hair right now just so I can see. Make sure. Oh, look at, see, a couple little squares there weren't selected. You always want to look around before you actually create the clothing. All right, so that's what's going to be our one piece here. Actually, I'm gonna make it all the way out like this. And I'm not really so concerned whether that's even because I'm going to have these gloves covering it, but I could always turn the gloves off if I want to make it perfect. Oh, you know what? I didn't turn this on, so what's going to happen here is none of the back faces are selected. We'll just go like that and select them all real quick. And then I can turn that off again. All right, so it looks like everything's selected now. Yeah, cool. All right, so here's the magic. After you, and this way you want to take the time to make sure that your whatever clothes your character is going to be wearing, make sure you take the time to make the topology work so that it'll match like how you want the clothes to be. Then you want to go to mesh here, or you can do Shift D, but duplicate, and then move your mouse around and then hit the right mouse button. Click the right mouse button. Bam, it pops back in place. And then go to mesh, separate. We're going to separate by selection. Go back to layout mode, which will take us back to object mode. And I'm just going to click on the clothing here. All right, so now I have the clothing selected. I want to make sure I have everything deleted in here. So you might not have to do this depending on how much information is already on your model. So I already have all the wet paint or the weight paints on my model. So I'm going to hold down Alt, hit P on the keyboard, and I'm going to go to right here. I'm going to clear and keep transformation, the middle option. Then I'm going to click on this icon here, this object data properties, little upside down green triangle. Click this little down arrow and then delete all groups. That will take it out of having any sort of weight paint on it. Now I'm going to go here. I'm going to delete everything in here because I don't need it. Actually, I'm going to keep the rigging, but I'll delete it for now because I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, now I can go back. Now I can go back to modeling or back to edit mode. Up here, see edit mode. Make sure you have your in layout mode. Make sure you select it, right? So select your clothing first in object mode, and then go to edit mode and hit A on the keyboard, and that will select everything. Then hold down the Alt key and hit S on the keyboard, and now you can drag your mouse to kind of make this expanded properly. Because if you just do S, it won't expand right. It'll look weird. So we're just going to expand it just a little bit like that. We just want it a little bit bigger. Over here, you can actually click it like that, just a little bit bigger than the model, and that will be our one-piece suit here. So we're looking good. I could come in here and start, and make the hole that I had here by using these lines here. But I'm going to go and just leave it like this for right now. All right, looks good. Let's go back to layout mode here. I'm going to select, actually, before I do anything else, I need to do one other thing. I need to go down here. I'm going to get rid of this. And then I'm going to leave it white, so that should be good. Okay. All right, so now Wait, why is that coming out so far right there? Oh, she must not be symmetrical or something because that's not right. Hold on a second. Oh, you know what? Here, I'm going to click. That's weird. Why is her skin? I have no idea why this is like that. Hold on, let me check something. I'm going to go to here. Problem solving is good, so I'm going to go to pose, just make sure that I have that all cleared, and it is. So I guess what I have to do is I have to click on her. I'm going to go to sculpting mode. And see how it's all totally different on that side? I'm not sure why that is. So let's go up here. I'm going to symmetrize x to plus x, negative x to plus x. Let's see if that works. Yeah, voila, perfect. Cool. Let's go back here. I'll go ahead and save this real fast so I make sure everything's good. All right, so now it's all matching up nicely. And if you want to make sure that your shirt is you can do the same thing with the shirt. Go to sculpting mode, and then up here, do the same thing. And it'll just make sure each sleeve is perfect so that you know that way they'll be the same length. And we're good to go. Looks like everything looks good. I like making the shirt like this way rather than adding thickness yet. Only add thickness if the animation just doesn't work when it's like this. Cool. And by the way, when you add the solidifier, you don't want to add it. You don't want to add it and apply it when you're doing animation. You just want to keep it underneath your armature. All right, so once you're at this stage here, then it's time to add the weight paints correctly. And so what you want to do is I already have weight paints with the skin. And how you do that is you click the skin, then you click the rig. So click the skin, left mouse, click the skin. That is whatever your base model is. And then hold down the shift key and left mouse click the rig itself. Then Control P, and you would choose with automatic weights. But I already have the automatic weights applied, so you don't want to apply it twice. Now to apply the weights from the skin to your clothes so the clothes deform properly, select the skin first, make sure you're in object mode, then hold down shift and left click on the clothes so that the clothes have like a lighter orange and the skin now has a dark orange. Under object mode, go to weight paint, under weights right here at the top, go down to transfer weights. Boom, make sure that this is by name. I think it's active layer by default. So just click this here and then click by name and you're good to go. And then we're going to go back to object mode. Click on the rig. If you don't have a rig with your model yet, then you can't do this yet, but at least you can learn something and then you can apply it after you've applied your rig to your model. Go to pose mode. Up here, so after you select the rig, go to pose mode. Click on this little foot thing down here. I'm going to click on this icon up here, the move tool. And you can also, oh, wait a minute, how come? Oh, you know why? I know why? I know what just happened. So actually, I can show you how to do it anyways, because what just happened was because I applied that thing to the skin, it broke the way it works. So I'm going to go back to object mode, click on the base model here. I need to do the Alt P on the keyboard, clear and keep transformations. I need to go to this little icon again, the triangle. Click on this. I need to delete all groups. Then I need to go to modifiers. I need to get rid of my armature modifier. And then I need to click on the skin and then click on the shift click on the rig. Hold down Control, hit P on the keyboard, and I'm going to choose with automatic weights. This is going to give weight paint the skin and rig it to the rig properly. Now when I click on I'm going to take the armature. Make sure the armature is above everything else. It should always be at the top of your stack. Okay, that should be good now. Let's go back to, I might have to redo the close. Let me see. Yeah, it's a bummer. So, oh well, get to learn something, how to undo stuff, because this is how you have to do it. Alt P, clear and keep transformations, go down to here to the little green triangle icon, click on this little icon, delete all groups, boom, like that, and then add an armature. Oh wait, I haven't done this part yet, huh? Okay, cool. So click her, add armature, make sure in this object here, click in here and then choose your rig, not meta rig, choose the rig. Right, the meta rig generates the rig. So whatever you're using to actually animate your character. All right, that's done. Now we got to click on her body where we want to take the weight painting from, and then shift click on her clothes. Now we're going to go here to weight paint, weights, transfer weights, and make sure this is by name. It should remember whatever we did last. Okay, boom, now it's good and it should only have one piece of information there. Click on the rig. Up here, object mode, we'll go to pose mode, and let's go ahead and move her leg a little bit, and you can see now it's transferring and moving correctly. If you want to smooth this out, you can. So right now it's a little bit rough, but you can see it's following correctly. And if I grab her hips here, we can move her hips back and forth. The clothes are deforming nicely. Click on this here, move her arm, make sure all that's working nice. So everything's following the way it should. It's not creating any weird artifacts like a doubling up or weird stuff that happens when you don't do this correctly. Right, so it looks like there's a little bit here where it didn't, like when you come up high like that. And that's okay because we're going to add a little bit of thickness to it anyway, which should fix that. Just in case you ever were to do an animation where it's like this. But you can see it's starting to look good. So I'm going to click on object mode again, click on our clothes. Let's go ahead and add a Solidify modifier here. To go to modifiers, just click on this little gear icon. See all these little icons up and down here? The gear icon takes you to modifiers. I'm going to make sure it's underneath Armature. By default, if your Armature at the top, it'll put this under it. Change this to -1 by clicking this twice, and see that Solidify fixed that issue right there. And then you might want to add also another modifier. We'll add the subdivision surface, and we're going to change this to like 2. And I have a nice smooth, everything looks smooth, all the edges look smooth. But when you're moving or animating, you don't want to have this on. So you want to click this icon right here, the real-time icon. And so you're not seeing it applied right now, and you want to do that to animate and stuff to make sure you get enough frames. If you notice your frame rate's lagging when you're playing your animation back, turn a lot of stuff off. Make sure you're in this mode. This is the best mode. This will make it to where it's fastest. Don't go to wireframe mode. That actually takes longer. This is the mode you want to be in when you're animating and stuff. And then make sure you turn off hair and things like that, and just have what's necessary to kind of get the feel of the animation. And then if you absolutely need to see this, you can turn on and just kind of watch it through. It's going to play a lot slower, but at least it'll kind of show you how make sure everything's looking right. And then obviously when you render, it'll be good. Then go back to that because you know it's fine. So there we have it. Everything looks good now. Cool. So that's how you do it. That's the basic workflow to make clothes so that the clothes are going to work correctly with what you're doing. Now, once I have everything weight painted and stuff, I can actually go in and edit the clothing more now if I wanted to. I can go make that hole in it, for example. So I click on my clothes, go to modeling here. Well, like first thing I want to do is reset the pose. So how to do that? Click on the rig, go to pose mode up here. Hit A on the keyboard, which selects the whole rig. Go to pose, clear transform, and all, and that sets her back to her default there. Then we're going to go back to object mode, click her clothes, go to modeling mode, zoom in here. I can now select some stuff. Let's say I want her shirt here, because this is supposed to be like a basic version of Power Girl. Hold on, what did I do wrong? All right, so I'm doing something wrong. I'm not sure what it is yet. Hold on. Can I not have Solidify selected to do this? Let me try to turn that off. Select her again. Back to mono. Okay, I guess I can't have Solidify selected. I think I only want to come down to about this far here. Just make sure it's working. It is. Come up to about here. I think that's the best. Hold down Control to undo stuff and slide over it like that. That seems to be a good. But see, I don't want these points. It's going to look weird if I have just those points there. But first I'm going to hit delete, choose faces. That's going to delete just the faces, make sure everything's looking good. Oh, that's not good though. I went down way too far. So let's go back here. I'm going to unselect, hold down the control and unselect that. Hit delete faces. Still probably down one too far. That's why I kind of had the kind of just painted basic color for nipples. It's not actually nipples, but about that far down. That should be fine. I could go up a little bit higher, but I think I'm going to keep it like that's about what Power Girl is like. Okay, we'll do this again. Delete faces, hit delete on the keyboard, and then select faces. There we go. That's much better. Okay, so now I can come in here and I can kind of edit this a little bit. Let's click the vertices. I'm going to click this vertex, hit G on the keyboard. I'm going to kind of pull this in. And then also this corner here, hit G on the keyboard, kind of pull it in, hit left mouse to accept it, and that makes it more rounded. So that looks a lot better now. Go back to object mode. Yeah, that's looking much better now. Right, so I mean, Power Girl is a lot of different designs. Sometimes it's kind of more of like even like a Super or Superman symbol shape here. Sometimes it's just an oval. Sometimes it's more squarish. It just depends. I can do an oval on this. I think it'd be fine, but I wouldn't want to try to do it with the mesh. It would just take too long to redo all that. But I could actually use a Boolean operation, and a Boolean operation should be fine in this area without it really messing up anything. Anyway. But I like that shape, it's fine. So there we have it. Now I just redesigned my suit outfit again, so everything's good. And one thing I want to show too is if you go to pose mode, I'm going to show what happens if you don't do it right. If the topology doesn't matter. One thing I don't like is how much it stretches out here. Yeah, how much it follows the leg. That has to do with the weight painting. You can try to make it where it has more negative painting on this side, so when it pulls, it doesn't pull this skin so much over. But you know, if you see here, you have to make sure that, you know, see how it pulls that side a little bit, so it kind of evens it out. So if they're doing the splits or something, it'd be fine because both sides are gonna be kind of even. But if you're just gonna have one leg pulled out quite far like that, it might look kind of weird. Like if you have her, wow, she's gonna do a kick like up like this or something. You know, you might want to move this leg out just a little bit to try to counteract that a little bit more, which typically is what you're going to do. And if you're doing a kick, you're going to be more like that. And that kind of counters that kind of weird. Anyway, I'm not sure how to really get around that unless you mess around with the weight paints a lot. And anyway, so unfortunately, for certain types of animations, it might look a little bit odd for bikini type stuff. But if it's done fast, you probably won't even notice it actually, you know, as animation plays by. All right, so let's go ahead and show what happens if you do it incorrectly. So we'll click the clothing here. I'm gonna make sure I save this. And then I'm gonna go back to object mode so I can click the clothing. That's why I couldn't click it. There we go. And I'm gonna remesh this. We'll do 2000 here. Boom, like that. We're going to remesh it, and that's going to create a new copy. So with this new copy here, I can show you that it is new. See, the mesh is different. The mesh isn't totally matching our figure now. I should also reset the figure here. Pose. Okay, cool. Wait, is this still not matching again? Is it like putting her back to, why does it keep doing that? I don't know why it's doing that. So if I go here, it's like a weird bug or something. Symmetry, okay, so that's there again. I'd have to do all that over again, huh? To make everything follow. Watch, it's not gonna follow now. It's like it keeps messing it up when I come here. Yeah, dang it, man. You know, I'm just gonna leave it for right now. Okay, I'm not sure why it keeps doing that. What I could try to do is make it this leg match that leg. I can symmetrize it the other way and see if that will make it stop doing that. I'm not sure why it's doing that though in the first place. I just don't want it to keep coming back in, and let's go back to here. Make sure that everything is still working. Hold on. Okay. Anyway, so let's select this new outfit that we just made, the new retopology, and see how it's all offset right here? It's because it's trying to match the clothing knows how the leg is supposed to be. See how the clothing is trying to match how the leg actually is supposed to be, and for some reason it keeps showing me the leg like this. I'm not sure why that is. I think it has something to do with an original pose that I had set when I did the animation, and then it's like still kind of remembering that, and it's trying to default it back. Because it was earlier, it was making her leg like pop out to the side every time I made a clothes. Anyway, I think it's just probably a bug or something in the software. It's not too big of a deal. All right, let's go ahead and do what we did before. Hit Alt-P on the keyboard. Clear and keep transformations. Click on this icon down here, the green one. Okay, there's no information. That's good. So everything's good. And we're going to add a armature here. Make sure we choose rig right here for the object. Just left click in there and choose rig. And then we're going to need to add weight to this, weight painting. Click on our skin, click on the clothes, go up here to weight paint, weights, transfer weights. Make sure this says by name. And that should be good. And now if we come here to pose mode, you're going to see that you get some weird, it doesn't quite work as good. See how you get this weird artifacting in here? Watch over here at this side. Look at all that weird, see all that weird, look at all that weird shape right there. See all that? How weirdly shaped all that is? See how it starts spiking out? And if this were like shorts or something, all that would be so visible, it'd look really weird. And so if we choose our other suit that we made, get rid of this. I got rid of the wrong thing. Okay, there's the body. Wait, hold on a second. Is this the one? It might, I don't know, the original one might be messed up now too because of that leg thing though. Let me see here. Because it's not matching the topology anymore. If it, let me check something. What about this one? The original. That one's still working, isn't it? Yeah, it looks like that one's still fine. Looks like it's showing two different things here. What is, okay, I see. Hold on. I think I know what happened here. So this one, bring the body back. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this one's still good. You can see that one still is nice and smooth. That's the way it's supposed to be. This mesh follows the mesh underneath, so everything works good. So let's go ahead and turn that one off again. I should have named them so I could keep track. And this is the one we just made that doesn't follow topology correctly, and it looks all weird. See all that? So that's what happens when you don't have proper topology. It's going to look really strange where things bend. In fact, even where the arm bends. Hold on, let me make sure I got. Okay, there we go. I need to make sure they're there. Okay. Let's go ahead and bend this arm really quick. Oh, actually, amazing enough, it's following that all right. We're getting a little bit of weirdness in here, but it's actually keeping okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of, let's turn this one off, and let's turn this one back on. You can see how it does a better job here in the corners because the topology is matching. Anyway, so you'll just get really weird kind of artifacts and stuff if you don't. Let's try to lift this arm up, see what happens. Up like that. So you can see it's all staying nice and smooth. Like in here, everything's looking good. The crinkle here is good. Let's turn off, just so I know where the placement's at. Look, see all this weird defecting in here now? This is all right though. But see that's not, watch, let's go ahead and turn this one back on and this one off. See how much better that is? So anyway, and depending on the kind of clothes you make and the kind of animation you do, you might see a whole bunch more weird artifacting everywhere, like really weird stuff where it's like it's just unusable. So just make sure that your clothes follow the topology of your figure and everything should be good. want to clear all this back to default object mode. And so that's that. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this one because we don't need it. The one we just made. Just showing you the different, how the remesh. So just make sure not to mess with the mesh. Make sure the mesh is following from the skin underneath. And again, I don't know why her leg is doing that. I mean, I could do what I did before, but it might just re-happen again once I go to animate or something. So I'm going to show how to do that. See how much time I've used up already. Oh, it's a pretty long video already. But I'll show how to do the animation because it's really easy to do. And anyway, you could have easily made a bikini top just by selecting just this and then selecting just this down here, or a bikini top and bottom, and that would have been good. So to do this animation, it's really easy. We're going to select the rig. We're going to go to pose mode. Click on this one right here. And then we're going to adjust it with this up here. See the rotate? Use the green handle. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it to the left like this. About there. Let's turn it this way. Make sure everything's looking good. I just want to see how far I can really exaggerate it before it looks weird. Probably about, like, I could go way out like that, but I'm just going to go to about like there. There we go. Then you want to hit I on the keyboard and choose location rotation. You could just choose rotation. That's all we're doing right now. But just in case you want to, I would actually maybe do location rotation and scale if you ever want to use scale. But just in case, we'll do location rotation. This is just in case you ever want to use like the move tool as well. Then we'll move to about the center of our animation here, and then we're going to move it the other way here. Boom, like that. Hit I again on the keyboard and then choose location rotation. And now I'm going to select left mouse click in here so it deselects these. I'm going to just select this one, right click on it. I'm going to say duplicate and then slide it over here. Just move your mouse over like this. Put it on this side, boom, like that. Now you're done. Now you go ahead and play the animation. And there it goes. It's that simple, so it's pretty easy to do some animations. You can turn the rig off if you wanted to kind of just see it animate better. Notice I'm getting 25 frames a second up here. But if I'll leave that going actually. If I click her shirt here and I turn on the Solidify, I should still get, yeah, I'm still getting good. But if I turn on this one, the Subdivision, that smooths it out. Look at, boom, look at that dip. It goes all the way down to 9 frames a second. So you can tell it's like, look how slow it's going. So you just want to make sure like certain ones you don't want to have on like this here. And if you're in this mode, you'll get even better. I think it's set though just to only go to 25 frames. I think the software is set that way. I think I can easily get more frames than that, but that's where it sets it at because that's where you're going to pretty much export it at anyway. But yeah, if you just notice you're not getting 25 frames a second, make sure you're in this mode and then just turn a bunch of other stuff off. Like if I turn her hair on, I think even though her hair is not moving right now, let me see. Actually, it doesn't mess with it because the hair is not moving. But if the animation included her head moving at all, which would make the hair move, it would take a dip. So there it is. I'm kind of curious. What if I view it in this mode? Like I can't view it in that mode at all. That's funny. I could probably do it in Eevee though. Let's see. Let's go up here. Click this icon. I'm gonna change cycles to Eevee. I should be able to view that in real time. It doesn't really look much different anyway. Cool. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully your clothes will now deform correctly with your characters. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. And if you would like to see me show something else with Blender, let me know what you'd like to see. What kind of tutorial would you like me to cover in Blender? I definitely want to show some like sculpting stuff. And I would definitely want to show how to properly rig your character too, so that you can do all this with a character. I might make this model available too for people that want to just mess with it and play around with it. So anyway, let me know if you think that's something you'd want to do. All right, thanks for watching. Until next time.